9 races down in the F4 Middle East Championship 2025 and 6 to go. We're here for round 4 of the 2025 campaign and we're back at the meeting place of champions, Marina in Abu Dhabi, the home of where 4 Formula 1 world champions have been crowned, namely Sebastian Vettel, Nico Rosberg, Sir Lewis Hamilton and most recently Max Verstappen. Now we're here to see if the battle can be won by Emanuele Olivieri this week or next time out at Qatar. It's going to be an interesting one for the Italian. He lines up for the first race of the weekend in pole position. He has a huge lead in the championship standings, but all it takes, as every driver knows, is one bad weekend where the luck deserts you and all of a sudden the rest of the contenders have a chance to creep up, and there's certainly going to be a lot of contenders in this one. Thomas Stochamanis, Alex Powell, Kian Nakamura-Berta, Adam Alazadi, Alexander Bondarev, they all want a piece of the action in this first race of the weekend, and there's plenty of action up front. Now it's a little bit hotter than it was during the qualifying session this morning, so the teams will have had to adjust their setups and their tyre pressures accordingly because it will be a very hot race. 28 minutes plus the additional lap, and the sun is at its highest point in the sky, so this could be the toughest race of the year for all of our F4 drivers. It's going to get busy. The drivers are currently in the process of going down the pit lane, doing their reconnaissance lap, so once they get to the grid they'll figure out just how intense the heat is going to be on the starting line. We're going to give you a little bit of a roundup as to what's been happening recently in the F4 Middle East Championship, and then we're going to catch up with one of the stars trying to scratch their way onto the top step of the podium, the Dutchman for Axel GP, Renault Franco. In terms of conditions today, and perfect that it's the reverse grid race.
I think a lot of things didn't go our way, but there were a lot of positives to take. You know, we started the season collectively as a team in a really good way.
Just make sure you can do the perfect lap. When you finish quali and the races, you're happy with yourself, like you did the max you can.
The sand up at the far part of the circuit, it is such a knife edge for the drivers. I've never seen the sand so strong here.
Dubai Autodrome, we've got miles of runoff, so you can experiment as much as you want. You can have fun, obviously, as much fun as possible.
On with the confidence and the aggression to pull off the move around the outside. Now he's got just one man standing between him. Still a little bit of sand out on the circuit in places, and for those who are wondering if sand is a compromised position to be in on this circuit, well, the drivers tell me that sand on the circuit here at Dubai feels very similar to water on the circuit at Spa. It is so slippery. Renault, we're getting ourselves ready for the 4th round of the F4 Middle East Championship. It's been a very good season for you so far in terms of good pace. The result hasn't quite been there yet though.
Yeah, we've been quite unlucky with, like in last round in Dubai, we had some issues with the car. But the pace was there. Like I got a P4 in quali, also a P4 in race 3. It's just unfortunate that we can't put it together and go on the podium. I mean, I've been on the podium once, but of course I want more, and of course I'm chasing the race win. So let's see if we can change the route.
Your driving style is, shall we say, quite gung-ho. I think everybody wants to see you go for those overtaking moves. You don't seem to have much difficulty in trying to go for these moves around the inside, the outside. Has that always been your style? You just look for opportunities everywhere you can find them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just want to overtake, like go past them as soon as possible, so I just try whatever I can, and most of the time it works out. Sometimes it's a bit unlucky, but then I just try something else and it works. So yeah, that's been our driving style ever since karting, since I started. So I mean, it works out.
So how do you combine that style of racecraft with looking after the tyres? You're out on the circuit for 28 minutes plus the lap. It must be difficult to combine your style of charisma on the circuit with racecraft with managing tyres.
But for me, it's quite easy because I just try to make as less mistakes as possible. Just don't lock up the tyres, don't go wide, just stay on the racing line. But if I have to overtake, then I just take the risk. And then the next couple of laps, I just stay in the racing line again, and the tyres will be good. So yeah.
So we're back at the Marina circuit. You've obviously done 2 rounds here, but the last time we raced here, we were at night. This time we're in the day. So that's obviously going to provide a little bit more of a challenge in terms of tyre degradation.
Yeah, that's true. Last race on the night was really good. I managed to time as well, and I could just push. But now it's going to be a little bit different, also with the higher temperatures. So yeah, we've got to see how it works out.
What's the biggest takeaway that you've found from racing in this series? What did you've learnt the most about being out here?
Definitely just the tire degradation, also fighting with the top, because the top guys are just really on the limit. I mean, the fighting is really hard with them, but you just gotta learn how to fight with the top guys, and then you should be fine.
I see a lot of drivers in this particular category pushing their limits, and if it goes right, it's fantastic. If it goes wrong, it's almost like the end of the world. But you've never really responded that way. You seem to have a very relaxed attitude to things, even in adversity.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very calm on the track. Also off track, I'm just calm. Like, I just see whatever comes my way and I try to deal with it.
Well, hopefully all your hard work is going to end up in some silverware this weekend. Good luck, Renault.
Thank you very much.
Here's the Grand Prix circuit here in Abu Dhabi that you all know and love, the full duration of the circuit, but in very different conditions to round 1. Last time out we obviously had the full Grand Prix circuit, but it was in a very difficult situation for the contenders because it was at night. Now it's going to be even tougher for a very different reason. It's only just gone 12:30 in the afternoon, which means the sun is at its highest point in the sky. The racing will be the toughest it's ever been. It's the hottest it's ever been. And as you can see, the grid is absolutely packed. A lot of guests invited over by Athara, who have brought a lot of guests over from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, from Qatar as well. Of course, they're going to be hosting their first ever event in the F4 Middle East Championship next time out for the 5th and final weekend. But we are ready for an exciting battle out on the course once again. So let's see how it is going to be for the drivers as they gear up for the F4 Middle East Championship, the first race of 3 this weekend. As you can see, 82% humidity. It's closer to 23 degrees Celsius than it is to the bottom end. I have a feeling it's going to get to as high as 25 or 26 by the time we get to the end. So it's going to be an interesting one for this man on pole position, Emanuele Olivieri, who now has a very strong advantage, 233 points in the championship. So it'll be a tough one for everybody else to catch up. He leads by 57 going into this race. The man in second on the grid, though, Thomas Stolchamanis, will definitely be chasing him down. The Latvian, already a race winner this year in the opening round of the championship on the Grand Prix circuit. He seems to like this layout, so expect him to be charging his way to the front. But the man who will be giving chase is Alex Powell, the Jamaican sensation as they know him, the Mercedes F1 Junior, who's got a lot of support both out here in the Middle East and also back home in Kingston Town, Jamaica, and Miami in Florida. But what about Nakamura Berta? The British-Japanese is going to have to work very hard indeed to put himself onto the top spot of the podium, but that's the way he likes things. A great race with a chance to make overtaking moves. It's certainly how he puts on a show. Here is Adam Alazadi, very much following in the footsteps of his older brother Keanu, who raced in this team in this championship last year and fought for the title. He finished third in the standings that time. Adam Alazari going for his first win. And what about the Bison? Alexander Bondarev, the Ukrainian for the Williams Racing team and Prema. He's got a beautiful chance of a podium overall. Never mind for the race win in the rookie category. He really has a good chance. But so too does his fellow rookie competitor Salim Hanna, the Colombian, masterminded and managed by Juan Pablo Montoya, who's been out here in the Middle East coaching him through every single step of the season so far. And there is the 52, a much more improved version of Alexander Savinkov, looking so strong in recent weeks. He has a beautiful opportunity of points here in round 4 of the championship. All 3 races, he should be starting strong. He could even be a favourite for reverse grid pole for race 2 tomorrow. But this man could turn that into a victory if he gets it. We've just heard from the Dutchman Renaud Franco in our pre-race show. Here he is, starting from P9. It'll be a very tough man who deals with him in this race. But what about the new Lionheart, Sebastian Weldon, looking so strong for Prema in the Gainbridge Andretti colours. It is really cool to see that livery out here in the Middle East, and Weldon is getting better all the time. His Prema teammate, Chijin Roy of the Republic of China, looking very comfortable at the front end of the field nowadays. He's getting closer and closer to that overall podium success. And then alongside him on the grid is August Raber, who has his driver coach with him this weekend. Duncan Tappy has come back into town for Quest Performance. Managed to catch a quick word with the Hollywood film star, as I now get to call him. Duncan Tappy, of course, one of the 4 stunt drivers who got to be part of the new Formula One film that will be starring Brad Pitt later this year. The waiting is over. The grid is being cleared for the last time before race 1, round 4. There are 6 races left in the 2025 F4 Middle East Championship certified by FIA. Really exciting to see how this hottest race of the year, I think it's going to be, is going to change things up for the championship. This is where all of that hard work in yesterday's 2 one-hour practice sessions will really come into their own. A lot of the teams predicted it was going to be this hot, so they spent the hour basically doing a long race run of anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes in length to try and figure out what old tyres would do under those conditions. So they learnt a lot yesterday. It'll be interesting to see which team has learnt the most coming into the race. They've obviously got fresh tyres going into this first race of the weekend. Certainly a lot fresher than the ones they ran in practice, but that doesn't mean they won't have a tough mission ahead of them to get these cars around the circuit in good speed. Here we go then, the green light comes on and the formation lap begins here at the Marina circuit. The meeting place of champions is about to take us one step closer to finding out who our champion is going to be in the F4 Middle East 2025 campaign. And there is a very tough battle ahead of us in this 28 minutes plus 1 lap. Thomas Stoltjemanis will be determined to put one over on Emanuele Olivieri in a close run fight. Obviously Alex Powell has done so this year. Kia Nakamura Berta has come close, but Thomas Stoltjemanis would love to put one over on his teammate and prove that he has just what it takes to be a champion. And of course in the rookies race there is so much support from both Colombia and from Ukraine for Salim Hanna in the Mumbai Falcons car and Alexander Bondarev in the Prema car. Here's the starting grid though. Emanuele Olivieri pole position once again from Thomas Stoltjemanis alongside him on the front row. Then Alex Powell and Kia Nakamura Berta, who are lined up together on the second row of the grid. Row 3, it's Adam Alazadi on home turf again from Alexander Bondarev, the leading rookie. Salim Hanna, 7th position. Alexander Savinkov, much stronger in round 4 qualifying. Next up, it is Renaud Franco alongside the American Sebastian Weldon. Then it's Chijin Roy alongside August Raber, hoping to repeat his win from earlier in the season. 13th on the starting grid for the talented Fu Yuhao alongside Beda Al Sulaiti, looking so much stronger this weekend, the Qatari. Tiago Rodriguez is alongside South Africa's Cole Hewitson for the XL Motorsport team. 17th and 18th on the starting grid, sharing row 9, it's Martin Molnar alongside Britain's Emily Cotti, and then Arjun Jaheda of India alongside the Romanian David Kozma for the XL GP squad. Just outside the top 20, still plenty of talent. 21st on the grid for Taha Hasiba alongside Abdullah Ayman Kamel for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yutta Suzuki is alongside Snappy Gilmore, struggled to get the tyres to temperature on his qualifying lap. Then it's Wangu Zhe alongside Tamim Hasiba, and then Farah Al Youssef will finish up the grid. So good to catch up with everybody as the drivers are preparing for another exciting run. Once we get the last few drivers on the starting grid, from Seth Gilmore down to about Farah Al Youssef, then we'll be ready for the start of this first race of the 3. Emanuele Olivieri in front of Thomas Stolchemanis. The last couple of tyre warm-ups for the drivers. All very important going into the race. The tyres and brakes have to be on point so that they've got plenty of trust in them heading down to the first corner. It's not going to be easy. So the last couple of drivers getting into position once again. Just waiting for the last couple of drivers passing my position on the commentary box. There's Tiago Rodriguez just passing my position. Martin Molnar, who really struggled in qualifying, he'll be lining up alongside Emily Cotti. And the third member of the Evans Grand Prix team, of course, Seth Gilmore, the Australian. They've started calling him Snappy ever since his accident in the opening couple of rounds of the championship when the car literally snapped in half. He's taken it in good half and he's owned it. But he is, of course, the original saltwater croc in this championship. Final cars into position as Farah Al Youssef for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia lines up at the back, and then we've got the green flag flying at the back. It's Imran who waves it. Now we're going to have the lights on when they go out. We'll be racing for the first time this weekend in the F4 Middle East Championship. Let's race at Yas Marina. And it's a brilliant start from Thomas Stolchemanis, who launches forward. Sebastian Weldon gets a slow one, but Stolchemanis has beaten Olivieri to the first corner. Great start from Stolchemanis. Olivieri has to lock his wheels in order to avoid hitting Stolchemanis. The Latvian has rocketed into the lead. Perfect start from Thomas Stolchemanis, clearly taking a leaf out of Freddie Slater's book. He got a similar start in Formula Regional earlier on, and now Stolchemanis leads the way into the W Hotel section. Good start too from Kia Nakamura-Berta. He seems to have got in front of Alex Powell. So brilliant starts from the Mumbai Falcons pair. First and third from second and fourth on the grid. Excellent work from the Latvian, who leads the way. And up they go towards the main Formula One straight. It's a perfect start too for Alexander Bondarev. He's got into fifth in front of Adam Alazadi as August Raber there goes wheel to wheel with Fu Yuhao, I think it is, as they duel away for position down the Formula One straight. Everybody trying to get themselves into a neat rhythm, and that is again a big challenge up the inside of August Raber. That comes from, I think, the number 2 of Martin Molnar. It is indeed. Tiago Rodriguez gets past him round the outside. Arjun Jaheda trying to stay out of trouble there on the far side of the course, but there's still some sand on the far part of the course. But everybody is through safe and sound for the time being. But how long is it going to take Olivieri to challenge Stolchemanis? A couple of run wides there as Adam Alazadi finds a move on the inside line and goes for the overtaking bid on the inside of one of the Mumbai Falcons cars that seems to have gone wide. I think that might be Salim Hanna, who ran a little bit wide there. So Salim Hanna's lost a bit of ground. Here we go, side by side. And on the far side, Olivieri's going to try and beat Stolchemanis to the corner. Stolchemanis is going to go late on the brakes. Too late on the brakes. Olivieri's got him. And now Nakamura-Berta will run round the outside of his teammate and gets the overtake. Alex Powell has got a run on Stolchemanis as well. So Olivieri leads, Nakamura-Berta second, and Powell is now going to go wheel to wheel with Stolchemanis. It was great while it lasted, but now Stolchemanis is already down to third and could drop to fourth if Powell holds it round the outside. Stolchemanis is going to get it round on his teammate. Nakamura-Berta drifts wide into the first hairpin. Stolchemanis is going to go with him, and if they keep battling amongst themselves, Olivieri's going to disappear into the distance and pick up another victory. Powell gets the run on the inside of Stolchemanis. Stolchemanis tightens in behind his teammate, runs wide onto the curbs. Powell tries to keep it round the outside and makes it into third position as Arjun Jaheda runs wide at the W Hotel, recovers, but it's Alex Powell into third round the outside of Stolchemanis. From first to fourth, Disaster for Thomas Stolchemanis. Well, big disappointment then for the Latvian. He's got to try and make that back up in the next 25 minutes. But it's Olivieri who leads. Nakamura Berta second. Powell is third. Stolchemanis is fourth from Alazadi, Salim Hanna and Alexander Bondarev. Then Franco, Chi, Savinkov and Fu. They go again up the top end of the crest. And then they will fly round the right-hander. Car 4, 15 and 68. Under investigation for a jump start. That's Olivieri. Olivieri is under investigation for a possible jump start. Oh my goodness. Is the bad luck going to turn his way? Wang Moucher and Farah Al-Youssef for the other two. But 68, Emanuele Olivieri is under investigation for jumping the start. Now, if that is the case, then all of a sudden, Kia Nakamura Berta could be in the fight with Stolchemanis for the victory. Unless, of course, Olivieri is able to pull away enough. I remember Hamder Al-Kibesi doing that back in the day. Down on the inside, this is going to be a tough battle of the Mumbai Falcons as Stolchemanis hangs on in front of Al-Azadi and Salim Hanna. So they are dropping back as the leading trio are disappearing into the distance. Salim Hanna trying his best now to take on Adam Al-Azadi. He pops out to the right-hand side. Good racing at the moment. So it's going to be a really tough run as they go on the far side. Olivieri holds the lead of the race. 1.2 seconds clear of Nakamura Berta with the new fastest lap. But if he gets a penalty for jumping the start, then it suddenly becomes a very different situation indeed. Wow, very tricky. Let's see how it's going to go for the contenders as they work their way through the W Hotel once again. I'd quite like to see a replay of the start when we get a chance, as into the pits comes Yuta Suzuki. So Yuta Suzuki, the Japanese driver for the Axel GP squad, appears to be out of the race, certainly for the time being. He's certainly away from the rest of the fray, as the 29 is under investigation for a possible jump start. Oh, sorry, for cutting turn 7, I'm told. So that is Cole Hewitson. So Cole Hewitson under investigation as well. This is going to be a really difficult scenario then. Well, I would love to see a replay of the start another time, so hopefully we'll get the chance to have a look at it. But Emanuele Olivieri is one of 3 drivers under investigation for jumping the start. And if so, that's basically the first real mistake that Emanuele Olivieri has made over the course of the season. And if he does get a penalty, I think it's 10 seconds for a jump start, so it's going to drop him out of the points for certain for the moment. But then with another 22 minutes of racing, he could still score points depending on how far he is demoted. But this is all dependent, of course, on whether he has got a penalty. We've had drivers be investigated and get a penalty. Others have been investigated and not got one. So there is Adam Al-Azadi again putting Stolchemanis under some pressure. Salim Hanna's closing up. Bondarev's not far away. Franco up to 8th position. Then Chijin Roy, and the reverse grid pole is looking likely to go to Fu Yuhao at the moment. So Fu is looking good in 10th position at the moment, but he's got pressure from August Raber, who would love to overtake him and then take a reverse grid pole again here at Yas Marina. As round the far side, Salim Hanna's going wheel to wheel with Adam Al-Azadi. There's not a lot of space for them as they run through the first hairpin. Al-Azadi holds his nerve for the moment. Salim Hanna can't get through. The Colombian will try again, no doubt. Up to the W Hotel. Is he willing to go for the move? Well, you don't want to throw too much caution to the winds in the W Hotel section. It's very slippery there, very greasy indeed, as August Raber again tries on Fu Yuhao, and again he's left frustrated. So this could be a tricky situation for the contenders, and there's a bit of a puff of smoke from the cars in front. Big lockup then for one of the top 3. It's got to be Olivieri, Nakamura Berta or Alex Powell. So one of the top 3 had a massive lockup there. I'm not entirely sure which of them it was, but certainly a big lockup, and you don't need those in these races because that will definitely hamper your progress and certainly cook your tyres to an absolute crisp. And on a race circuit like this, with no safety cars so far, in the temperatures that we're likely to get by the end of the checkered flag, this could be the toughest race of the year. Of all of the races this year that needs a safety car, if any of them were to need a safety car, it would be this one. This is where the tyres are going to be worked to their absolute extremes here. This is where the drivers are really going to be on the limit of what they can cope with. Alexander Bondarev's got pressure from Renault Franco. Bondarev married to the inside line on the run to the chicane. So Renault Franco can go deep, wide and long. It's going to with his car around the outside of Bondarev. You've got to leave space enough to make it happen. There's not a lot of room for either of them. Bondarev's just going to hold on, but watch for Chijin Roy. He'll go around the outside of Franco. He's got a bit more momentum than Bondarev. So the two Prema teammates will run side by side. Franco trying to squeeze out Chijin Roy and get his move on the inside of Bondarev. Bondarev's got to be defensive everywhere he looks. And somehow he's held on to it as Franco now has to defend from Chijin Roy. So excellent work from Bondarev to hold on to both drivers in a very difficult situation. He holds on to it for the time being. 3 drivers, first warning for track limits. The possible jump starts will be investigated after the race. So the incident at the start could well mean we've got a provisional winner. Olivieri may not be able to keep his win if he gets a penalty, but it will be investigated after the race. There's too much going on in the middle race itself for the penalty to be applied. So we don't know whether Olivieri, Wamoujer or Farah Al-Youssef have jumped the start yet. They will find out after the race. So that means Emanuele Olivieri could really do with getting on with it and disappearing 10 seconds up the road from Roberto and Alex Powell just to be on the safe side. So no doubt the RSGP team would have informed Emanuele Olivieri, right, we don't know if we've got a penalty or not, get on with it, put your foot down, get away from the pack. Of course, if there's a safety car, there's absolutely nothing he can do about it, but you just don't know whether you've got a penalty or not, so you can't think about it. You've just got to get on with racing and hope that the racing gods are going to be with you. This is a great battle, and it's still going strong. Stoljimanis, Alazadi, Salim Hada and Alexander Bondarev in the background. Is Alazadi going to get his opportunity? Not close enough yet to Stoljimanis, who seems to have settled into the rhythm now after his mistake on the first lap. So we're going to get to see if there's an interesting battle in the next phase of the race. So we're going to see if we get a little bit more out of it. 18 minutes to go. There's a run from Fuyu Hao, who's got a big challenge from August Raber. August Raber trying to go round the outside of Fuyu Hao, and this is for... Oh, did you see August Raber losing the back end of the car? Somehow he caught it, but there's a lot of sand on the exit of that turn, so he was very lucky indeed there to save the car. Interestingly, there was an incident between Renaud Franco and Alexander Bondarev that's going to be investigated after the race as well. So that's going to be an interesting one for those two. And that could, of course, affect the rookie winner. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. A lot of incidents that are being noted, but they're taking the decision to essentially work their way through once again. It'll be interesting to see. I think the officials are basically saying that we've got time at the end of this race to have a look at the incidents with a little bit more time to play with, because the Asian Le Mans cars, of course, are going to go out. So they'll have a lot of time to play with this afternoon without having to worry about the schedule. So let's have a look and see how things are going to play out for the rest of the race. A lot of drivers on personal bests at the moment. Stoljimanis, Alazadi, Salim Hada and Alexander Bondarev all getting fastest laps that they have done so far. So still the fastest lap of the race at the moment has come from Emanuele Olivieri. He's got the gap up to 1.4. So he's got a comfortable advantage over Kia Nakamura-Berta, depending on how much time Nakamura-Berta can gain, of course. So down to the chicane is Chijin Roy again battling with Renaud Franco. Behind him is Fuyu Hao, currently running in 10th position, and that little wobble from August Raber has caused a bit of an issue. Sebastian Weldon hanging on there by a thread in his duel with Cole Hewitson. And there's Martin Molnar trying to go the long way round the far side. Good duel for Sebastian Weldon, but he's down to 15th. He could really do with trying to find some more speed as Martin Molnar's got up the inside of Cole Hewitson. Is that a move he can complete? Yes, it is. Oh, sorry, no, I think that might be Thiago Rodriguez, actually. Time. Martin Molnar in the number 2. Thiago Rodriguez in the number 3. Very easy to confuse for each other. So it is Molnar as Cole Hewitson has to slam on the brakes to avoid sliding into the back of his rival. Arjun Jaheda and Emily Cotti are in that mix as well. So it'll be an interesting one. Be an interesting situation for the contenders as they run in position. So it'll be a very exciting run for the contenders up at the front end of the field. So we'll see if the drivers are going to have a little bit more out of it. But it will be a strong one for the contenders up at the sharp end of the field. Tyre degradation is going to be an important one to get right. So we'll see a very tough race battle for all of the runners on the back straight. Olivieri, Nakamura Berta, Powell, Stolgimanis, Salam Hanna, Adam Al-Azadi, Bondarev, Franco, Chi and Fu. That's the top 10 at the moment. So Fu Yuhao of the XL Motorsport team looking very good at the moment. So we'll see how it all generates. Good run so far from Al-Azadi to get away from Alexander Bondarev a bit more. But Bondarev is starting to set up the rhythm. New fastest lap, Emanuele Olivieri, 156.1. So he's clearly got the message he needs to pull away from Nakamura Berta and Powell. Side by side, meanwhile, this is the charge forward from August Raber to try and defend from Alexander Savinkov. Savinkov trying to go right round the outside as Weldon locks up in his duel with Bader Al-Sulaiti. Oh, sorry, that is Bader Al-Sulaiti, my apologies, having a duel with Alexander Savinkov. So Weldon's going wheel to wheel with Thiago Rodriguez, the Macanese driver, and he seems to have dealt with him for the time being. So Weldon is through, up into 14th place at the expense of Rodriguez. Oh, and right off the road goes Arjun Chaheda. Not sure what happened there, but he's got to be careful. So he's now had a second warning for track limits now for Alexander Bondarev as well. So there's a lot of intriguing battles going on. Shijin Roy trying to close up here on Renault Franco. Will he get his opportunity? He has a look at it. Franco's trying to defend. I think Franco's left it too late to cover the move, and Shijin Roy will get the line on the inside line, and he's got it done. Nicely done there, no problems at all. There's a yellow flag at turn 14 and 15. So that is just after the W Hotel. There's a yellow flag flying. Now, I'm not entirely sure who that's going to be for, but Shijin Roy has got the move done on Renault Franco. Alexander Savinkov's disappeared. So Alexander Savinkov does not appear to be moving anymore. So big problem there for the 52 as into the pits he comes. So Savinkov comes down pit lane. Problems then for Savinkov in the RHGP car. Big disappointment for Alexander Savinkov. He was looking good for a potential points finish in this race. He's certainly been very, very strong since the start of the weekend, but qualifying has not been as... Well, qualifying was certainly more successful than the race. So a very difficult situation then for Alexander Savinkov. I think they're trying to send him back out again, which I think they've done. So let's see if we can... Oh! And there's damage to one of the Qatari cars. That is Bader Al-Sulaiti. So that tells us a little bit of the story. Bader Al-Sulaiti has got a loose front wing, while Alexander Savinkov is coming to the pits. So I wonder if the two of them hit each other. Because now there's a big problem for Bader Al-Sulaiti, still going with that loose wing. And Emily Cotty's got to be careful she doesn't trip over him, which she doesn't. Good work, good foresight for her to go round the outside of Bader Al-Sulaiti. But unfortunate for the Qatari, because Bader Al-Sulaiti now is going to lose a lot of time. He's going to have to come back into the pits, I think, to repair the car. So it's definitely going to be a tricky one for the drivers in the midfield as they still battle away for position. Olivieri has now stretched the lead over Kia Nakamura Berta to 2.2 seconds. Nakamura Berta's mission is very clear indeed. Just stay as close to Olivieri as you possibly can. If you can stay within 5 seconds of him, if Olivieri gets a penalty, then Nakamura Berta could take his first win of the season. Right, let's look at the start. That is very tough to tell whether Olivieri moved before the lights going out. Very tough indeed. Especially when you consider that Stolgimanis got ahead of him. Well, again, we couldn't see the lights at that point, but we can certainly see that there's a little bit of suspicion around it. Weldon barely got away at all, of course. And Stolgimanis did get a better start. I wonder if that's because Olivieri suddenly realised he was jumping the start, got back off the power, and that's enough for Stolgimanis to then beat into the first corner. But of course the rule here is very clear. If you move at all, it's a jump start, even if you get back off the throttle again. So it will be very difficult now to tell whether or not that's a penalty, but they're going to talk about it after the race. So Olivieri may well get his podium ceremony, but after the race, things could change. That's only, of course, if Olivieri stays in the lead of the race in front of Kia Nakamura-Berta. Nakamura-Berta's just done his personal best lap time, 1:56.3, and the two of them are lapping about half a second quicker than anybody else on the racetrack. Olivieri and Nakamura-Berta are in a different league to everybody. The only person that can stay even close to them on lap time pace is Alex Powell in the 1:56.7 range. Everybody else in this race is on 1:57's minimum. So this is going to be a really tough race for the drivers to finish up, because the tyres are going to start screaming at the drivers. Olivieri's just gone purple in sector 2 to get a 1:56.2 out of the car. Nakamura-Berta's got a 1:56.3. So impressed with the pace of Olivieri and Nakamura-Berta at this phase of the race. There's nothing anybody can do to hang on to them. A lot of 1:56s on this lap, and that's a dive up the inside from Arjun Jaheda, I do believe. So Jaheda has got the move there on Thiago Rodriguez into the chicane. Double waved yellow at 5. So double waved yellow at 5. That's the hairpin. The hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. So there is a double waved yellow there. I wonder if that's because of the wing parting company with the car for Bader Al Sulaiti. But certainly there was a double waved yellow at that particular point on the course. Well, Bader Al Sulaiti has finally come into the pits, so it's all gone wrong for Bader Al Sulaiti. So big disappointments then for the Qatari. He was looking so good for points, and there is his car minus the front wing. So Bader Al Sulaiti, the front wing has gone. So it could have parted company at turn 5. That might be why we had double wave yellows. We knew that the wing was loose. So for Bader Al Sulaiti, it really is game over, I'm afraid. Third track limits warning for the 99. That's Abdullah Ayman Kamel, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabian driver. And the 95 has been given a second track limits warning. That is Bader Al Sulaiti, but I'm afraid it's not going to make much of a difference because he's in the pit lane anyway. Cole Hewitson appears to have lost some time. That is a bold lunge there from Bondarev, who gets the move on Adam Al-Azali. Lovely bit of racecraft between the two of them as they race wheel to wheel for position, and Bondarev is just enough in front that he can shut the door on Adam Al-Azali. Great racing from the Bison. Now he's got to try and close up on his main rookie rival Salim Hanna, who is in 5th position. Adam Al-Azari doesn't like the move. He wants to get back on terms with Bondarev again. But Bondarev in the Prema is through. Up into 6th position then goes the Ukrainian Bison, Alexander Bondarev. A great run from him. A very tough challenge as he continues on his way down to the hairpin on the far side. Adam Al-Azadi putting one wheel in front, but Bondarev holds his nerve on the inside line again, so no issues there to hold on to the manoeuvre. Black and white warning flag for a track limits infringement for August Raber in the sister Yaz Heat car. So they've got to be so careful. A really good charge forward from these competitors through the W Hotel section once again. And touch wood, I have to put 3 fingers on the table in front of me. We've got 5.5 minutes to go, and we have yet to have a safety car. For Nakamura-Berta, he's just got to keep as close to Kia Nakamura-Berta as he possibly can. Something seems to have gone awry for Cole Hewitson. He seems to have lost quite a bit of time there. He's now behind Seth Gilmore, the Australian. So I'm not entirely sure how that has worked. So I would suspect that it's an interesting one for him. Very tricky to see if Cole Hewitson can make up any of the ground, and certainly with 5 minutes left on the clock it's going to be almost impossible to get the ground he needs to really sustain a good result. So Chijin Roy is now lining up a move on Adam Al-Azadi out of that hairpin and down the back straight. Meanwhile, Thomas Stoltjamanis and Salim Hanna, 4th and 5th, are very much in no man's land territory, out on their own. Olivieri and Nakamura-Berta have just gone past my commentary box on the main straight, with Alex Powell only a couple of seconds back from them. So the top 3 very much on the road. Adam Al-Azadi locks up and makes the bid on Bondarev, but Bondarev swings in round the outside and finishes him off. Now Chechen Roy's got a chance on Adam Al-Azadi. He's got a much better run off the turn. So Al-Azadi has got to stick to his guns on the inside line. Tough to get the racecraft right on a very dusty, very slippery circuit, but Chechen Roy gets the move in the Prema. So Adam Al-Azadi's got to fight back. Bondarev locks up. Al-Azadi's got to stay hungry. Still a chance for him to get back in there with 4 minutes to go. But Chechen Roy looks like he's the man on the move. Bondarev locking up gives the Chinese star a chance to go after his teammate. And don't forget, of course, that Bondarev and Chechen Roy are not only teammates at Prema, they're also fighting each other for the Rookie Championship with Salim Hanna in the Mumbai Falcon car. There is Salim Hanna, trying to stay as close to Thomas Stodjamanis as he can. It's Bondarev, Chi, Al-Azadi and Renault Franco in the next group of drivers. There is the Dutchman, Renault Franco, for the Axel GP team, working in collaboration with PHM Racing. That is the team, of course, that supported Taylor Barnard through the last 2 years of racing in the Formula Regional Championship. And we'll say a hearty congratulations to Taylor Barnard after yesterday's brilliant run in Jeddah in Formula E. The former Formula Regional Vice Champion twice over backed himself another Formula E podium yesterday for the McLaren Formula E team. So there is Emanuele Olivieri, who's just done purple in Sector 2. How is that possible when he's pushed the tyres to the extent that he has? Absolutely incredible. So Tamim Hasiba has apparently cut turn 7 at a point on the course. That is the corner they've just gone through for Emanuele Olivieri. But the Italian stallion up at the sharp end of the field is still the man on top from Kia Nakamura Berta. 3rd position, going very well indeed as well. So let's see how it all continues for Nakamura Berta. Can he find a little bit more pace on Olivieri? The gap is currently 3 seconds, and that could be enough with 2.5 minutes to go. 3rd warning for track limits for Alexander Bondarev. He's got to be careful to tidy things up. He does not need a penalty. There could be several penalties coming the way of drivers in this race, but that is largely because it is so difficult for them to keep on the road in these very hot conditions, with the wind being so strong last night, a lot of sand blown onto the circuit. It's a lot hotter at this point of the day than it was for the drivers during round 1, so they're definitely having to work in a very different manner. Not easy for anybody to push these tyres even further than they have gone, in an even hotter condition than they have gone so far this season. But these are the lessons the drivers will learn the hard way. They'll either get it right or they'll get it wrong. And this isn't like the world of football or tennis or cricket. Let's say a teenager signs for the likes of Manchester United or Paris Saint-Germain or one of the big European football clubs. They do all their training behind closed doors. You never see those masher, not just from their team but also from the viewers around the world, particularly those on the keyboards, who can be quite judgmental and quite critical without knowing the situation at its full. Final minute of the race then, so Emanuele Olivieri crosses the line now to start the penultimate lap. There's only going to be 2 laps worth of racing left. And look at how tight Chechen Roy has closed up on Alexander Bondarev. Meanwhile, Renault Franco has tightened in on Adam Al-Azadi as well. There we go again. Bondarev working hard to shake off the Chinese talent. Chechen Roy right in there, and Adam Al-Azadi from Dubai pushing hard to shake off Renault Franco. The Dutchman going very well indeed in 9th position. The man behind them on his own, Fu Hao, is going to be starting race 2 tomorrow from pole position if it stays like this. The reverse grid pole is looking his, but Renault Franco wants the honour of getting ahead of Adam Al-Azadi. He wants to push his way forward past the Yazhi driver. Top 12 drivers score points. Top 10 are reversed for the start of race number 2. So it will be a fascinating competition to see who gets the pole position. That man is going to at the moment, Fu Hao, in the purple and white XL Motorsport car. Time has run down to 0, so now it's a case of scamper back to the line and see how well you've done. But it is going to be a really interesting situation for the contenders. Still they go again. Emanuele Olivieri in front of Kia Nakamura Berta, Alex Powell. The top 3 separated by 6 seconds. Look at Franco really starting to hammer home on the back wing of Adam Al-Azadi, really pressuring him. So this will be an interesting one. Still they continue on down the straight. There could be an opportunity here as out of the way gets Farah Al Yusuf to allow the two Prema drivers to get through. So this is an interesting scenario for Farah Al Yusuf. Don't forget, of course, most of these races have been interrupted by safety cars in the past, and this is the hottest race she's ever done. So she moves out of the way to let the drivers go through without causing any issues for them. Ji-Jun Roy has got his teammate on a breakaway though as Emanuele Olivieri goes into the last lap. Ji-Jun Roy hunting down the move on his teammate. Bondarev still protects, holds the inside line to cover. Nicely done. Ji-Jun Roy's going to have to try something else. Onto the main straight though, he's got the slipstream on Bondarev the Bison. So down the straight, still chasing after the rookie leader Salim Hanna, but the two teammates of Prema are going to go to battle again. Bondarev holds onto the inside line. Ji-Jun Roy's going to go round the far side. Is there going to be enough room for two? Bondarev locks. Ji-Jun Roy's gone wide and he's on the sand, so he has to back out of it. He now tries to cut back in for a faster trajectory on the run to the W Hotel. He might just get a move here. Ji-Jun Roy tries, but Bondarev holds his car in the middle of the road. A beautiful karting tactic. That's why he's the Junior European Champion of 2023. So out in front though, Emanuele Olivieri has held his nerve for the entirety of the race. The toughest race of the year. It's been the hottest race of the year for sure. So it's going to be an exciting duel for the contenders all the way to the flag in the points paying positions. But now we are going to get to see Emanuele Olivieri. Here he is in the hairpin coming through, 3 seconds clear of Kia Nakamura Berta, a further 4 seconds clear of Alex Powell. He's done exactly what he needed to in this race, and this will open up the championship lead even more for the Italian. He's been absolute whirlwind quality since the start of the season, and now Emanuele Olivieri is going to come through to the final chicane. Another masterclass performance from the championship leader as Emanuele Olivieri comes through to win his 6th race out of 10 starts. What a performance! Emanuele Olivieri for RHGP wins the 10th race of the season, his 6th win of the season. The championship title is inevitable. Kia Nakamura Berta 2nd, Alex Powell 3rd, and the 3 drivers were completely in a league of their own. We look back to Stolchamanis. Salim Hanna once again picks up the rookie victory, and the train coming past us now is going to be a very tight one. Bondarev hangs on in front of Chi, Alizade and Franco, and look back, there's your pole sitter for tomorrow as Fuyuhao in the XL Motorsport car finishes 10th and will start pole position tomorrow. That is what it looks like when the F4 Middle East drivers go from lights to flag without interruption. A very rare sight. A very difficult race that. The hottest of the season, toughest on the tyres yet. And there have been some incidents, but fortunately, no safety cars, no delays, and a full run to the finish. A couple of retirements, admittedly. Yuta Suzuki, Bader Al-Sulaiti, and Abdullah Ayman Kamel. There were a couple of pit stops as well. Alexander Savinkov finished the race, but will be down in 23rd after his visit to the pits. I think he was hoping for a safety car. Sadly, he didn't get one. But Emanuele Olivieri, what a performance from the Italian stallion. 6 times a winner in 10 starts. That is astonishing. What a performance. And an absolutely heroic run for Emanuele Olivieri, a man who is almost certain to win this year's championship. With the lead he's got, he's extended it further with this victory. And all he needs to do now is just bring home more points for the rest of the season. Top 5 finishes will do for the rest of the season now for the Italian. A very exciting race indeed. So once again, a brilliant run. Kia Nakamura Berta did everything he could to take on Olivieri, but the RHGP team that masterminded Tukka Tarpanen to the Formula Regional crown last year, they really have hit a sweet spot in F4 this season. Not just for Olivieri, but for Alex Powell too. That is quite an astonishing statistic. As RHGP take, get this, their 10th race, and they have taken their 8th victory of the season. That is absolutely incredible. only Thomas Stolchamanis for Mumbai Falcons and August Raber for Yazheep have picked up reverse grid wins to take it away from them. 6 wins out of 10 for Emanuele Olivieri in 2025. Can you believe it? But the job is not done yet. He's still got some work to do in 2025. Over the course of tomorrow, he has 2 more races, and it'll be interesting to see who gets the best of him. For the 6th time this year, Emanuele Olivieri gets the victory from Kian Nakamura-Berta and Alex Powell. Then Thomas Stolchamanis, the rookie win goes to Salim Hanna in front of Alexander Bondarev and Chijin Roy. Then Adam Alazzani and Renaud Francote. The pole position for tomorrow will be Fu Yuhao of China. August Raber 11th position. The final point goes the way of Sebastian Weldon, who comes home in 12th place. Arjun Chaheda in front of Martin Molnar. Thiago Rodriguez ahead of Emily Cotti. Then David Cosma, Taha Hasiba. And then it is Cole Hewitson from Tamim Hasiba, Seth Gilmore and Wang Ujia. The last driver home on the same lap is Alexander Savinkov. Farah Al-Youssef was a lap down. And then the retirements: Abdullah Ayman Kamel, Beda Al-Sulaiti and Yuta Suzuki. So for the 6th time this year, Emanuele Olivieri takes the win. For the 8th time this year, RHGP get the victory. So a very tough race. Your 6th win at the line, Emanuele. Talk us through what had to have been the toughest and hottest race of the year so far.
Yeah, it was a really hard race. I had the power on the start. I almost jumped the start, and I don't know if I will get the penalty or not, but I lost a position for that, so I don't know honestly what they are going to do. But yeah, when the engineer told me that I get power penalty, I was pushing really like crazy. I was trying to open the gap more to Ken as possible, and yeah, honestly, I'm happy with the race. The car was mega, the pace was mega, and 6th win of the season. Even if we get the penalty, we will and ended up in the front. So yeah, the race was fun.
Excellent work out there, Emanuele. You did a fantastic drive. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's get a quick word with Kian Nakamura-Berta, the man in 2nd position, giving chase all race long. Kian, yet another podium position for you, but in a race like that, when it was so hot and so tough on tyres, just to be able to stay with the RSGP for as long as you did, that's got to be a little bit satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, we've made steps since Dubai. As we saw in race 3, we were really, really strong. We found quite a good amount of speed then, and we hoped that we could transfer it to this weekend. And quali wasn't the best, a bit from my side, a bit from the car. But then in the race, we were quite confident with the race pace and had a good start. There was a bit of a tussle in the front. Managed to get into second, and from there I was sort of just looking after the tyres, making sure I wouldn't have the massive drop like I did last time we were here in the race 1 of round 2, because that wasn't fun. But yeah, I think overall it was a decent race, but I think I did my part. We were comfortably there or thereabouts. I think we still have bits to improve, for sure. The car can, even if you're winning, it's never perfect, but for sure we've got some steps to be made to make our lives a bit easier. But yeah, I'm really thankful actually to the teams. We've made massive steps, and I feel like we'll just keep improving, keep digging, and hopefully we can stand on that top step pretty soon.
There's a very good chance of it tomorrow, Kian. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's have a quick word with the man in 3rd position, Alex Powell for Race GP. Yet another great performance from the Jamaican sensation. Alex, 3rd position, that was very much the toughest race of the year for everybody on tyres. When no safety cars, hottest race of the year. What was it like out there?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I didn't have a very good start, so it was a bit of a battle in the beginning. And then, yeah, it was just tricky to save tyres as well. I mean, it wasn't easy. We had huge gaps in between drivers, so wasn't sure whether we needed to push to try and catch the driver in front or just conserve to try and, lock down the position. So in the end, another podium isn't too bad, but of course, we want a little bit more.
Strong winds overnight adding sand to the circuit. That probably didn't help at patches of the circuit either.
Yeah, it's of course, it's not, it's really tricky. So, yeah, we have some work to do. We know the areas that we need to improve in for tomorrow. Obviously, we have a race quite early in the morning, so a bit different conditions. But yeah, we'll see how we get on tomorrow.
Great job and another solid podium, Alex. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Let's grab a quick word with the rookie winner, Salim Hanna of Colombia. After a very tough mission to battle for the rookie victory, he finally drove away from the rest of his rookie opponents out there and actually ended up battling in the top 5 all the way through. Salim, that's got to be a satisfying race when you know you've got Chi and Bondarev very close to you on 1 lap pace to not only overtake them but then disappear and start hustling Stolchemanis. That's got to be a very satisfying victory.
Yeah, I mean, I think Q1 I didn't close my lap, so I ended up in P7. I think I didn't make a great job. But then after, I mean, in the start, I think I stayed on the position, so I would say it was a decent start. But yeah, after I saw Al-Azhari and Bondarev, they were fighting, so then I managed to get in position. And then laps after, I managed to do a great move on Al-Azhari. And yeah, and then after that, I just tried to pull away. I think the team have made a great job of like a big step, because I felt we have a little bit more pace than before, which is great. Yeah, then at the end I was catching Thomas, but then I need to be careful with track limits too. But yeah, overall I think it was a great race. I mean, yeah, I did like 2 moves in the whole race, and then there was just big gaps. Well, yeah, I'm pretty grateful for the rookie P1, but now it's time to move on to podiums.
Looking forward to seeing if you can nail your first one tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you.
Right, folks, we've got a podium ceremony to greet the drivers out onto the rostrum for the 10th time this year, and it's the first podium of the weekend in the F4 Middle East Championship, certified by FIA, here at the meeting place of champions, Marina. Let's welcome out the drivers. In 3rd position for the United States, Alex Powell. A very solid race for Alex Powell. The Jamaican flags are in the pits as well as the American flag on the podium. In 2nd position for Great Britain, Kian Nakamura-Bata. A very solid and smooth race from the British talent. Great to see him put on another great show and get some more points on the board. But your race winner for Italy, Emanuele Olivieri. A 6th victory for the RHGP racer and an 8th victory for the team. And the Rookie Cup winner for Colombia, Salim Hanna! Another great race drive from the Colombian to pull clear in the Rookie Cup points. Now it's my honour to invite Davide de Gobe, the General Manager of Top Speed, to present the trophies to our contenders on the winner's podium. Starting first of all in third position for the United States of America and RHGP, Alex Powell! In second for the United Kingdom and Mumbai Falcons Racing, Kian Nakamura-Berta! And for the race winner for Italy and RHGP, Emanuele Olivieri! And finally to the Rookie Cup winner for Colombia and Mumbai Falcons Racing, Salim Hanna! Once again, drivers all focusing on the pit wall where our photographers are awaiting. What a fantastic start to the weekend in the F4 Middle East Championship. There's going to be 2 great races tomorrow, but it's time for our drivers to celebrate in style here on the rostrum as they get busy with the fizzy! Congratulations to our race winners, to Emanuele Olivieri and to Salim Hanna. Great racing from the first encounter here at Yas Marina. There are 2 great races to come from both F4 and Formula Regional tomorrow here from the Yas Marina circuit. From everybody here on Saturday, there's plenty more action 24 hours from now. From Jake Santon and the whole crew here at Yas Marina, we'll see you tomorrow for even more action.